Hi again. My name is Hector, and this is the wish list and shortcomings video for the Anatomy Lab application for the technology-driven active learning in human anatomy lab version 1.0. This project being developed from scratch, we decided to go with model view model architectural design because in iOS the MVC pattern tends to become what some people call massive view controller, because in the view controller ends up loaded with a bunch of code, with much code, and MVVM helps abstracting some of the code that it is for the view but it's not for the view, and comes from the model but it's not from the model. So basically it's a new layer, and we try to develop with MVVM in mind, and in some parts we succeeded, and in others we didn't. So I think one of our main shortcomings was that some code ended up in places where it shouldn't be. Code that belongs to models ended up in view models, and code that belongs in view controllers ended up in view models. So basically the idea of the view model represents the state of a view at some determined moment, and it doesn't know anything about the controller, it doesn't know anything about the view. It does know about the model does not know about the view, and so on. So you have to have a clear definition of what kind of code belongs to any particular class. So we have here a lot of view models, and some of them are real nice. Some of them don't have the code they should. Some of them have even code that it's actually model, belongs to the model. And some view controllers have many responsibilities, so it's code that should be out from there. And basically that's pretty much the shortcomings related to code. In the application, due to time constraints, we didn't put in much effort in the design of the application. As you can see, it's pretty gray, pretty black and white. No nice design, no nice layout and stuff. So for the wishlist part, we really wanted to have like a nice application with no so generic controls, no so generic table views, and maybe you guys can add a more visually attractive version of tables, like adding, I don't know, not so squared buttons and stuff, more like, you know, those applications where you have buttons and controls that are very friendly, like I don't mean for kids, but for education applications that are really interactive, and so the student doesn't feel that it's like reading a book, like a square book. So maybe one of my wishes, particularly our wishes, have better buttons, better interface, not so square, not so generic colors and stuff. In this part, we wanted to add in the image view like an OCR text recognizer. So when the student tapped in the term, it recognized the term and it searched in the images the position of a text with that term. So once we have that position, we can like apply a zoom in that position, add, I don't know, a spotlight, a magnifier glass. So you can see when a student taps in a term, you have to look for them, especially in the images that has lots of labels. And that is an improvement we wanted to add, but we couldn't due to time constraints. Another thing that it would be nice, it would be like 360 degrees views of the model, maybe a rotating model, 3D model that the student could, like, you know, rotate with the finger, with movement of the finger. That was one of the things we had in mind. The other thing was the video. The video right now is we embed the web frame in a web view, so maybe you guys can find a third-party library that fetches the video from the Google and fetches the data and use native controls, a native player when you have native control where you can speed up, take pictures, take captures of the video. I don't know, more native control. It doesn't feel like a YouTube window embedded in the application that is right now. In the quizzes part, maybe we can implement the same way the menu is in the terminology part. This menu terminology, you can select like stations from all the menu. This menu is a reused menu. It is the same menu that is here in the labs, but in the labs you just select one and it displays the detailed view. It changes. In the terminology, it's just a list of terms, so the user can filter by selecting all the stations he wants the terms from. So basically, you just select. We would like to, well, one of the things we realize, this is also useful here in the quizzes, because in the quizzes you select lab and stations, but that was done in late stages, so we could not integrate that menu here. So basically, it's it follows like the same logic. You select stations from labs and stuff, and then you make the quiz. This view also needs improvement, as you can see. Maybe add better controls for timing and fix the auto layout constraints in these views because they're not right. And of course, improvement here in the user profile view. There are some views missing, they are not there. You have to add them, and of course improve all the elements of this view. And another improvement, maybe move away from the storing locally the information and develop a RESTful web API, web service API, where you can download all the information for the application and not have it locally stored. That way you can fully implement this user profile view, because you're going to have the advantage of a full relational database in your web application. Right now the database, it's Realm. It's called Realm. It's one of the pods. It's very limited. It's a very fast database. It's very good to work in iOS, but you really need like a full-blown relational database management if you want to implement interaction among users and the other features that the mentor, the product owner, might ask. So I recommend moving away from storing information locally and start using some cloud service where you can develop RESTful services. That should be pretty common. And in general, improvement to the view. I feel the view is quite standard, because there are obviously standard controls, but basically that's all the most important items in the wish list to improve the general look and feel of the application. Because remember, this is an application that is going to engage students in human anatomy lab classes. So this kind of app, educational app, needs to be really engaging, so the student can even come to them outside academic purposes. So that's it. Thank you.